So G part 2 of number 19, assignment 1, it says, translate the hypothesis to symbolic form and complete the pair. What it means by completing the pair, you have to state what is the null and the alternative hypothesis. Also, you can Google it. What is the null hypothesis and what is the alternative hypothesis? We will be dealing with that in detail in assignment 3. The null and the alternative. The null hypothesis is a statement or claim being made which we are trying to disprove, and the alternative hypothesis is the hypothesis that we are trying to prove. We're going to go into that in detail. So in this example, in this question, the hypothesis was stated at the beginning of the question, number 19. The topic is tourist expenditure. The research question is, what is the average tourist expenditure? And the hypothesis is a statement without empirical data to back it up yet. It says the average is equal to 200 US dollars. So what you need to do now is to translate this worded statement to symbolic form. Bear in mind now that whenever you are asking a research question, even the topic, let's start with the topic. The topic is about the population. When we say tourist expenditure, we're talking about tourists on a whole. When we ask the question, what is the average of tourist expenditure? We are talking about the population on a whole. Population mean is given by a symbol called mu. We're going to learn that in the next assignment. Population mean. You have what we call sample mean and population mean. The population mean is a mu. The symbol for mu, here it is a Greek letter. Here it is, population mean. Because whenever you ask a question about the topic, you are referring to the population. And that's the symbol for it. The hypothesis is a response about the population also, or the average population expenditure of the tourists is 200 US dollars. So this statement now can be translated symbolically, and here is the table to do that. It was facilitated. Here it is. You have to go there and look to see which statement that is equivalent to saying the mean is. Oh, and here it is. So this is a null statement. The null statement carries the is. And here's the alternative. And here's the symbolic translation. As you can see, that is below is. Oh, here it is here. Is equal to the null statement. Here it is. The mean is. And this is the symbolic translation. The symbol for equal is the equal sign, and the alternative contradicting the equal sign. So you can use that to complete the pair, and you have to use the symbol for population mean and the value of, well, it's 200. So that would suffice for part 2. Part 3, do you think that the null hypothesis should be nullified or rejected? So therefore, now when you have calculated the mean, or you can use the median as the average, Or you can easily calculate the mean like how I did it a while ago and compare it to 200 to see if it is different or not. If you get a value very close to 200, then you can say, well, the null can be kept. But if you get a value which is much different from 200, then you have to say the null has to be rejected. That statement that the mean is equal to 200, that's not true because we use a sample and we got a value way different from 200. So that's the process of using sample data to prove or disprove population hypothesis. And part 4 is to state the conclusion, which will be the null. Which will it be, the null or the alternative? Then give a valid reason. So therefore now, if the null was rejected, if you have gotten a value very different from 200, you will have rejected the null because the null is saying that the mean is equal to 200. So if you reject the null, then you are left with the alternative. The alternative will be the conclusion that the mean is not equal to 200. But if you get a value very close to 200, then you have to say, well, you will not nullify the null, you will keep it, and then no, you will conclude with it. All right, the conclusion will always be one of the statements. And that's the nature of any research. So we'll start with a topic. Here it is, a research question, a hypothesis. Here, this happens to be a null hypothesis because it has the equal sign. And you have the alternative, will have the not equal sign. You calculate the mean and compare it to 200. If it is very different, then you have to reject that statement and you will conclude with the alternative. But if it is very close to 200, you will keep that statement and you will conclude with it. By closely inspecting, just by a simple visual inspection, do you think that the mean will be close to 200? You can make your assumption. Okay? And we'll be further discussing it when we meet again. Monday guest for biostatistics.